Thank you for joining us on This Is Exclusive. I'm Niranjan. It's 7 p.m. We are breaking a story from Russia, a conversation between the Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Azerbaijani counterpart on the crash that took place of the Azerbaijani airline that crashed in Kazakhstan. Russia has apologized, but are they owning up? Does an apology mean that they are owning up for shooting down the plane? There were pictures that indicated that perhaps the plane was shot down. We're looking at that story closely on This Is Exclusive. Okay, so let's get you the news summarized with notices using Galaxy AI on Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. Pranab Mukherjee's daughter, the former president's daughter Sharmishta, says there was no CWC meeting for her father, questions the Congress party and the treatment that was given to the late president. On the memorial for Dr. Manmohan Singh, the Congress has questioned the government. The fight continues this evening as we broadcast the show. High Court pulls up the Stalin government in Tamil Nadu on the Anna University sexual assault case. There is a fight ongoing between the Taliban and Pakistan, in which 19 soldiers from Pakistan have been killed. Taliban is retaliating to the strike carried out by Pakistan. That was the news summarized with notices using Galaxy AI on Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. Now let's start our big story on This Is Exclusive. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the focus this hour is on the plane crash in Kazakhstan. It was an Azerbaijani airline which was carrying passengers and was shot, according to reports, shot over the Russian airspace, and the plane crashed in Kazakhstan. There were many survivors, many people were killed as well. But the story right now is that there's been a phone call between Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, and his Azerbaijani counterpart. Even though there is an apology, and the apology is coming because we're picking up more details here on Republic TV. I'm picking up more details of a conversation where Russians have also said that Azerbaijani passenger plane was repeatedly trying to land at the airport of the city of Grozny. Now, why is this important? At the time, the Grozny airport was also coming under attack. It was coming under attack, and there were reports that perhaps that plane was also shot down. Now, look at these pictures. I want to show you the pictures on this screen right now, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at these pictures on your screen, these were images of the plane, the tail of the plane that crashed, and these holes suggesting that perhaps the plane was shot while in the skies. The plane was shot. Let me look at these pictures again. These are bullet marks, perhaps, or air defense systems that were perhaps retaliating. Now, when a plane crashes, this is not the kind of damage that you see on the remaining parts of the plane that were not destroyed in the crash. The plane was struggling in the air and trying to land in the Grozny airport. And from the details we've picked up in the call between Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Azerbaijani counterpart Ilham Aliyev, they have also noted, the Russians have also noted and mentioned that the passenger aircraft was trying to land at the airport of the city of Grozny. And there are details available that in Grozny, Mozdok and Vladikavkaz, attacks were being carried out at that time by Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs or drones, and Russian air defense systems were repelling those attacks. Russian air defense systems were repelling those attacks. So why did Vladimir Putin apologize? That's the big question. Now, Russian sources are also qualifying Putin's apology while saying that he only apologized for the incident taking place in Russian airspace. But Russian sources are saying he's not really apologizing for the crash itself. Right? So let me go across to Wing Commander Praful Bakshi and Group Captain Agustin Vinod also joining us. Group Captain Agustin Vinod, if you're there, I'm finding it a little intriguing that they would apologize. I mean, why would Vladimir Putin apologize if Russia hadn't done anything? Will he be merely apologizing if it were not for the bullet marks? We mentioned those bullet marks, if not for the bullet marks that you see on the tail here. Right? They're also saying that the Russian air defense systems were responding at that time to a Ukrainian UAV attack. What do you make of this phone call, the apology, and the Russian denial that they really shot it down?
Super question, Niranjan, as usual. And let me try to quickly demystify a lot of myth that is floating around. With the caveat that, I have flown fighter jets, and I have, currently flying such big jets in life. So both ways, I have a lot of experience in flying them. So few aspects that I want to make it very, very clear. A, about the incidents of airliners getting shot down. There are plenty of such examples, including in this area. One thing really pops up, while we were young, we've heard about Iran Air Flight 655. It took off from Bandar Abbas going to Dubai. In 1988, was shot down by, if I remember correctly, was USS Vincennes. They used a missile, I remember that missile still, it's called RIM 666 or 66 or something like that. And all of them perished. In Iran Air 655 was the most standout civil airliner that was shot down by mistake by USS Vincennes. Secondly, the recent one, MH17 777, I think it was getting airborne from somewhere in Sweden. And it was a regular flight. Even that got shot down. And this one is something which we need to, look at it very closely. Let's look at it a little more closely, and few hints, Niranjan, you've already dropped. First and foremost is about saying sorry. Saying sorry is an apology. Like mistake, bump into you, and I might say sorry. Or someone else bumps into you, and I might say sorry for that. So an apology is not really an admission, A. B, the whole marks, that bullet hole kind of marks that I'm seeing, as two important information that is revealing to me. First and foremost is, if it is a heat-seeking missile, Niranjan, it won't hit the tail. Yeah. It will hit the engine and that portion, because that is where the heat is. There is not much of heat in the tail. Say if it is a radar-guided missile, then it goes to the center of the mass, where the maximum reflection comes from, and radar-guided missile tends to hit on the wing root and that area where the mass is the maximum. Yes. Thirdly, 99% of the air-to-air missiles in the region is not designed to score a direct hit. They have something called a proximity fuse, and you have those sharpeners, like you rightly pointed out, the region. Comes out like a balloon or like an umbrella, and the aeroplane flies through that umbrella, and you score a hit and the aeroplane goes down. More often than not, the holes that is created by the shrapnel are oval in shape because both of them are moving at great speeds with each other. In this case, it is oval in shape, but it should be even more elongated. Secondly, there are few holes which are curling outwards. That is also raising a lot of doubt in my mind. Thirdly, and which you rightly covered, Grozny was under attack. Grozny was under attack from Ukraine, and Russia was trying to defend it. So there were few UAVs were flying there. In that area, it was an active air defense war zone, let me put it. Some air war was taking place. And that is the time this aeroplane goes there. Did it get hit there? That is the most important point, Niranjan. And secondly, I put the aeroplane behind me. If you can get me in slightly bigger view, I'll show something to the viewers. There's something called THS, Trimmable Horizontal Stabilizer. Contrary to common belief, pilot does not move the tailplane. He moves only a portion of the tailplane called elevator. The entire tailplane moves with something, with the help of the computer in the Embraer's case. If the computer doesn't work, you use a wheel and try to trim the horizontal stabilizer. Its purpose is to relieve the pilot from the pressures on the stick. Its purpose is not to fly the aeroplane. Push comes to shove, you can stabilize or try to stabilize the aeroplane, but the aeroplane doesn't get stabilized, Niranjan, so easily using THS. And the pilot was so experienced that he flew for so long and tried to, achieve a landing with only trimmable horizontal stabilizer, which tells me the control connections to his elevator were severed. He did not have any elevator control at all. He was trying to fly and land the aeroplane with the THS, Trimmable Horizontal Stabilizer, which is next to impossible to do. There have been a crash earlier also where they've tried to do it and they crashed on the runway. Half of them perished and half of them survived. A similar case is this. If you look at the entire flight path, I'm sure your team has it. You can pull it up on the screen.
Yeah.
It goes up and down and up and down. It is because of the trimmable horizontal stabilizer with which the pilot is trying to fly the aeroplane. I have tried flying this in simulator with THS. It's extremely difficult to do. Wonderful job done by the pilot by trying to cushion the kind of impact, and so many people survived to tell the tale. Over to you, Niranjan.
Yeah, I want to bring in Wing Commander Praful Bakshi, and we have two pilots who've served in the Indian Air Force, so they know how air defense systems work. Wing Commander Bakshi and Group Captain Agustin Vinod on the broadcast with us. It's a breaking news story, and Republic broke the story this evening, and we also checked with the Russian sources, the Russian government sources as well, which have responded, and a very interesting response. Let me actually read out the response for you. The response that came in from the Russians read, and I'm going to read out the exact portions, right? They said the apology is for the fact that such an incident occurred in the Russian airspace. It does not really equal an apology for the crash itself. And just for the record, he apologized for the fact that such an incident took place in the Russian airspace, not for the crash. Please mind the nuances, right? I'm wondering, why did they agree to an investigation then? Wing Commander Bakshi.
Thank you very much. As I told you, said in the earlier program, the question is, if he's rendering an apology, it's not very clear. No, these are play of the words. No, there are a lot of semantic errors, being observed here. Whether he's apologizing or whether he's feeling sorry about the crash or whatever he's saying it. But the question is absolutely clear. Let's forget about what he means or not. But it happens. When it is in tactical battle area, this aircraft is flying, there's a lot of ground fire is coming. And if, as we have been told, he was turning and he had made an orbit also on that area, the ground fire must have hit him. That's why you find the fire holes parallel to the fuselage. That is how it is. Instead of coming from the bottom to up, it is because when he is turning, he must have hit the side. Quite okay. But what we must also understand that Korean airliner which was shot down by Russians, the Swedish airliner which was shot down, the Vincent case has the Group Captain Vinod has just brought out. Yes, it was all misidentification. In fact, it was a total misidentification as far as the captain of the Vincent, who got an award, who awarded for it, also shooting an Iraqi airline. We tell you that head of the state, when they come up, they never come up with a complete statement. Putin is not coming up with a clear statement as to what he means to say. But we also must understand as professionals that this can happen. It has happened in our Indian airspace where people have got hit. I have got hit in Kalaikota in air-to-air firing, taking fighters overseas. I've got holes in my aircraft. That's right. It can happen. But that is not as somebody was trying to shoot me or shoot somebody else. But this aspect, we must be very clear that what Putin has trying to say, there's a lot of hidden meaning behind it. And probably he's trying to say that please don't play around with me or else you know what's going to happen next. Is he trying to say that? Or is he trying to say he's genuinely sorry? Probably it at the moment, complete inquiry will tell us. But as Captain Vinod had also said, that the pilot which was trying to lay, there has been a case in Indian Air Force where a pilot has actually. So that can possibility. So in this total thing, let the inquiry be over. Then only we will come to know what.
Wait, I'll get you back on Group Captain Agustin Vinod, because I'm getting in some breaking pictures right now from the national capital. I'm cutting across live to that on This Is Exclusive. Let me go across straight. As Prime Minister Modi has just met India's chess prodigy, the world's youngest chess champion, Dommaraju Gukesh. Prime Minister Modi has met the world champion Gukesh, who is the second Indian after Vishwanathan Anand to win the world title. Gukesh defeated China's Ding Liren in Game 14, and we have pictures of the Prime Minister meeting the world's youngest chess champion. The 18-year-old Grandmaster who became a world champion also gifted the Prime Minister, look at that, the pictures on your screen here. He also gifted the Prime Minister a signed chessboard, and those images came in some time back. A lovely picture there. Gukesh comes from a very humble background. His family has worked, has strived hard to ensure that their son becomes a chess champion at such a young age. An inspirational story. And the pictures that you have of him gifting the Prime Minister a chessboard, which has been autographed by Gukesh and his opponent, Ding Liren, and a memento for the Prime Minister to cherish for a long time. I'm leaving with those pictures on This Is Exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. As I come to the end of this newswheel, let's record and summarize with Note Assist using Galaxy AI on Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. Russian President Vladimir Putin has apologized to his Azerbaijani counterpart for what he called a tragic incident following the crash of an Azerbaijani airliner in Kazakhstan that killed 38 people. In an official statement, the Kremlin said that air defense systems were firing near Grozny on Wednesday due to a Ukrainian drone strike, but stopped short of saying one of these hit the plane. A US official and an Azerbaijani minister also made separate statements blaming the crash on an external weapon, which is now come into focus. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the precise reading of the news in a simpler format using Galaxy AI on Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. We will be back with the headlines in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.